Hundreds of Jews, Arabs gather to protest in Sheikh Jarrah in West Bank calling for peace and an end to Israeli military presence in East Jerusalem and the West Bank.
Here's a summary of the article.
Hundreds of Jews and Arabs gathered in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah on Friday in order to protest against the planned eviction of several Arab families by the Nahalat Shimon Company who intend to develop the area for Jewish housing. The protests in Sheikh Jarrah are not new, and have been happening long before mainstream media gave them any attention. Over the last 2 weeks, a series of joint Jewish and Arab protests calling for peace and for an end to ongoing violence have taken place across Israel and the West Bank. Over 200 Jews and Arabs arrived to protest peacefully at the entrance to the neighborhood in a demonstration arranged by the left-wing organization Standing Together. Index of 656,089 equals -1. We arrived in Sheikh Jarrah in East Jerusalem to demonstrate together, Palestinian residents and Israelis, against the expulsion of families from the neighborhood, said Standing Together National Director Alon Lee Green on his Twitter account. Image name. Israel border police are seen standing at the entrance to Sheikh Jarrah at a joint Jewish and Arab demonstration, May 21, 2021. The march was attended by Meretz MK Masi Raz and Hadish MK Ofer Kassif, who both reported that police were issuing parking tickets to journalists reporting on the event from the side of the road. During the Freedom March today, the Israeli police wanted to remind us that there is no freedom here, Sally Abed, a Palestinian member of Standing Together, wrote in her statement about the event. Demonstrators at both the Freedom March and the protest in Sheikh Jarrah held signs and banners with various slogans calling for change, including one which read, "Stop the war. Lift the siege. There is another way," in reference to the blockade of Gaza which has been in place since 2007.
This post received a score of 9,600, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Not all people who live there are hateful extremists. Many, maybe most, just want peace.
It's always that way. Not all the people in the US are ignorant racist regressives who want to overthrow the country. The regressives, fascist however, are all usually quite loud and annoying in the expression of their views, and some people confuse this caterwauling for a majority.
Bro, 70% Republicans believe the Democrats stole the election and the riots were justified.
That's probably only 70% of the ones willing to respond to a poll. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that each party does have majority of people agreeing with ideas.
It was a poll of 1987 registered voters, and the question was, do you think the ongoing election is free and fair? I.e., it was done before the whole stolen election thing. If it had been done in Europe, probably more would say that U.S. elections aren't particularly free and fair, especially left-leaning people.
For a second I thought you meant 1987, the year. As we all know, Michael Dukakis was cheated.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I will not exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience. I despise Reagan with all my heart for what he did to this country, but he could be a smooth motherfucker sometimes.
Another example of people need to learn to criticize states without attacking the people. MFs can't talk of Palestine without making assumptions that all of them are terrorists, and other MFs can't speak on Israel without going into some disgusting anti-Semitism. It's frustrating AF.
States equals people. If we could just hammer that one idea into everyone's skulls, the world would be a much more reasonable place.
These are the people of the Levant. They want an end to bloodshed. The politicians and power brokers are the corrupt warmongers pushing for further escalations.
Sorry, folks. BB has to stay out of jail somehow.
Respect. These are some dope Israelis and internationals as well.
Guys, with all that's happened, I'm starting to think ethno-states are a bad idea. Edit for chuds. Nationalism never ends well. And for the well-actually crowd, imperialism is also bad.
Do you know what an ethno-state is? If ethno-states are such a bad idea, we should let these places know: South Korea, Ireland, Australia, Russia, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, Cuba, Malaysia, Egypt, New Zealand, Norway, etc., and debatably the US and Canada. My guess, few who talk about ethno street at s care about the concept in general. Why treat Israel differently here? Why hold Israel to a different standard? Why give Israel more attention? Do any words describe this sort of behavior? A state that is dominated by members of a single ethnic group, if it's about favored immigration policies, can we focus as much on Armenia, Bulgaria, Croatia, Finland, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Serbia, Turkey, Estonia, Greece, Italy, Malaysia, Romania, and Russia?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.